Hello all. In this video, we'll be looking at our course structure. So we'll be using D2L as our primary source of communication. Now I want to draw your attention to a few things on D2L. So let's look at our course homepage. So this is how our course homepage looks like. Our section is section W05. For some odd reason, it's also got a name, another name, section 13. Please note the section number down because you'll have to write it down when you're submitting your project files. Now, the main place for our communication is this portion in the home page called announcements. This is where I'll be posting most of the content on a weekly basis. So this is where I'll be telling you what you should be doing and basically guide you. Apart from this, occasionally I'll send you emails on your Outlook email. So please log in using your KSU student email. So if you don't know how to do that, you can just type KSU email on Google, and then it's probably this link, and that should guide you. For some odd reason, I'm having issues on my end. You should be able to do it on your side. Now, here's the thing. If you ever run into issues like this, technical issues like this, there is UITS. So please do reach out to them. So if you do not know what UITS is, they are the IT side who handles all technical glitches. Some cases I can help you out. So if they are not available, just shoot me a quick email or just shoot me something on D2L, something really quick, or something on Teams. Try finding some way to communicate with me so that you let me know what issues you have ahead of time. Now, let us go back to our thing. So announcements, this is where I'll be posting most of the announcements. So please look out for the announcements on your D2L page. The second thing that I want you to look at is this weekly checklist. So I've provided you checklists all the way until week 9. Since it's an 8-week course, the first week is not exactly a complete week. Similarly, the 9th week is not a complete week, it's a half week. So week 1 is probably like 3 days. Similarly, week 9 is also 3 days. So that's why it's an 8-week course. So what I've done is, if you click on these checklists, it will look like this. So as you go along with each of these, I strongly recommend that you go in a sequential order. So you would start with watching the introduction video, then you would watch the navigation video, which is this video, and so on and so forth. So try doing them in a sequential order. And as you do them, you can check these boxes. So this kind of helps you understand what works you need to be doing on a weekly basis. So it is a good practice to look at these checklists. Having said that, I've given you access to all the checklists so that you know what work you need to be doing ahead of time, but you will not be provided content for all the weeks at once. You'll be provided content only for that particular week. So if it's week 1 right now, you'll only have the content for week 1. So that's why you're only seeing week 1's content here. So do not worry about some of the additional stuff that you would see on the checklists. That's just an indication of what you'll be doing in the future. So the next thing, if you scroll down, there is this calendar portion. In the calendar portion, you will see all the works that are due for that particular week. For example, we have this module 1 homework here. Now, if you click on this, this will take you to a page that looks like this. You see how this says external learning tool here? So this will navigate you to another software called Pearson, where you will be doing your homework for module 1. Now we'll talk more about this pretty soon, but just as an indication, you have this thing. Now let's get back to it. Let's go back to our course homepage. So there are 2 more works that you got to be doing for this week, which is quiz 1, which is like an introduction quiz based off of what you understood from the syllabus. And then you have the software verification assignment, which is required for you to get done so that we can move along with the course. So the main software that we will be using in our class will be Microsoft Excel. So this assignment basically helps you set up the Microsoft Office suite, also helps you set up Microsoft Excel the way we need to set it up in our class. So there's like even though you know Microsoft Excel, we'll be using an additional tool in our class. So what we would do in this assignment is we'll try to install that. So these are the main 3 things that you got to be looking at on your course homepage. So that's number 1. Next thing that you got to focus on is this tab at the top called discussions. So if you click on discussions, you'll see a bunch of discussions. Right now, you will only see general course questions and module 1 questions. Now, since this is an online asynchronous class, I'm sure most of you might not have a lot of chance to interact with each other. And because this is an 8-week course, I understand that it's pretty intense. Sometimes you can feel lost. I might not be available to help you. So there's a lot of other factors. You might be busy. So what I've decided is we would try helping each other out in a common platform, and we will try to use these discussions as a common platform. So how will this work? Now, if you go click on this module 1 questions, I've posted a thread. So you see this button called start a new thread. I've created this question using this start a new thread. Now, if you scroll down, I posted a question. So I asked, can you identify the correct analysis for the following 2 scenarios? I know this might not make sense to you at this point. It will probably make more sense once you're done watching the videos of module 1. What I want you to do is try answering the question that I post here as a reply. So you have, it's not available on my side, but you should have an option to reply, and then I can get to see your replies for this particular thread. So once you post a reply to this, what I want to see is some interaction. I'll basically tell you whether that's right or wrong. Similarly, what I want you to do in an additional manner is try posting your own threads. Let's say you got stuck on your project. Let's say you got stuck on your lab. Just post a question in there. Now, I'll try to look at those questions once every day, but there's no guarantee for that. What I want other people to do, other students to do, is try answering those questions. See if you can help each other out. And you might ask me, what's the benefit of me doing it? Well, if you post a question, I'll give an extra credit for that. If you answer the question correctly of someone, that would be my own question. I'll also post a question. If you answer a question correctly, and if you're the first person that's done it, you'll get 2 extra credits. So for each module, you have chance of getting at least 1 extra credit. I'm sure you're going to run into issues. So I want you to use this as the common platform. Try interacting with each other. And I will also be there to moderate you. So that when you're stuck, I'll be there to help you. And you never know this. Let's say you have some very, very silly question. You might think that it's a very simple question, but probably 10 other people in the class are also having the same question. Just go ahead and then post on these discussions. And that's how we try to grow together. So try using this discussions forum. I really want to emphasize this. So please try doing this. So click on the start a new thread whenever you have a new issue, and then try posting your questions in there, and then others can try responding to those. Right. So that's discussions. Now, coming to the most interesting part, which is the content. So you see this another tab called content. So this is where we have all the materials for our class. Right now, since this is just the first week, you'll only have access to the first week's material and the pre-first week material. So we need to set some softwares up. We need to set some things up. So that's why what I want you to do is start with this thing which says start here, as the name suggests. So start with this thing. Now you must have already gone through the introduction video. Now you're watching the navigation video. Now let's go with the syllabus just a little bit. I'm sure all of you have had a chance to look at the simple syllabus. The version that I have here is a much simplistic version so that we only focus on the most important things. So just go over the most important things that we have to focus on in our class. Now, we don't meet. This is an online asynchronous class. However, I have a physical office, which is in the Clendenin building in Kennesaw campus, and that office number is 3011. Now, if you ever want to meet me in person, that is where you can meet me. Now, I have office hours on every day of the week. What I want you to do is try using this booking link. So you see this link which is on the document. So if you click on control and then click it, this should basically take you to a bookings page. And once you sign in, you should see a bunch of slots where you can make a booking or an appointment to meet me. Now, I've provided a couple of options here. Now, if you want to meet me in person, then you only have opportunity to do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays because those are the only 2 days I'll be on campus, on the Kennesaw campus, that is. And these are the time slots. Now, if you use this booking link, every booking is 15-minute long. So it need not be 15-minute long, like our conversation need not go on until 15 minutes, or it might go beyond 15 minutes. But just so that you have it like a placeholder, I strongly recommend that you make an appointment there. Now, if you can't meet me in person, there's always the online option. So whether it is Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can always try meeting me online. Or let's say none of these times work for you. Just shoot me an email. I am pretty responsive. So this is my email address, jkota@kennesaw.edu. Just shoot me an email there. Tell me I'm having particular issues and none of my office hours work for you. So you can probably say, hey, does this time work for you? And then we can work around our time and then we can meet during those times. So just shoot me an email. Communication is the key. So strongly recommend that you shoot me emails whenever you are in doubt. Now, as far as the course is concerned, even though it says it's 3 class hours and 0 laboratory hours, most of our lectures and classes are going to be in-class labs. So it's a very practical class. So on one hand, you'll be working on in-class labs, and on the other hand, you'll be working on a project. Now, don't let these names get to your head. Labs, hands-on labs, projects, this might sound like a lot to you. But to be honest, they're not really so very different. The labs are all self-guided. We have videos for every little thing that you got to do in the lab. We'll talk about that pretty soon. The projects are direct extensions of the labs. So whatever you do on the lab, you'll do the same thing on the project. So you would ask me, what is different then? In the labs, you will work with a different data set. In the project, you will work with a different data set. So 2 different data sets, but the skill set is pretty much the same. So whatever you learn in your lab, you're going to apply the same thing in your project. So don't really make it a big thing. It's not really that difficult. It might be a little difficult for you at the beginning to get used to it, but once you get hang of it, it's pretty simple. Now, for the class, we have this textbook called Data Science for All. Now, this is a required textbook. However, I do not want any of you to buy this physical copy. If you want to buy it, go ahead, do it. But you don't have to. Why? Because if you enroll in this class, you'll automatically have access to it using a software called Pearson MyLab. This is a software that we are going to be using to do all our homeworks. And there's also additional reading material for you on the software. So please do not opt out of it by the end of the first week when the opt-out period kicks in if you want to remain in this class. Having access to this textbook is absolutely important if you want to be successful in this class. So please remember that, and then you have this opt-out deadline, which is June 8th. So please keep in mind. The next thing, the technology requirements. I strongly recommend that you have either a Mac or an Apple laptop or a computer, or a Windows laptop or a computer. If you only have a Chromebook, if you only have an iPad, then this class can be slightly difficult because of the hands-on labs. Excel works in a certain manner on, let's say, Chromebook as opposed to a Windows laptop. And there are certain functionalities which don't work on Chromebook or iPads. So just so that everyone can have access to the complete things that we do in the lab and the project, how to ensure that you have either a MacBook or an Apple laptop, Apple computer, or a Windows laptop or a Windows computer. Now, if you have any issues on knowing what your operating system is, you can just shoot me a quick email and then we can talk about that. Or let's say you have Chromebook or iPad and then you don't have access to any of these computers that we talked about. Also shoot me an email and then we can see the best due course of action. Let's see how you can be successful in it. Just don't let this stop you from taking this course. There have been instances in the past where I've successfully guided students with an iPad and Chromebook. I mean, they've had to use other computers, but I was able to do that in the past. So I'm sure you will also be successful even if you have it. But I have to stress on this. Early communication is key. Please don't tell me somewhere towards the end of the semester or in the middle of the semester that, oh, I only have an iPad and a Chromebook. I'm sorry, I can't work with this. So try communicating earlier on, like probably the first week. Tell me in the first week or the second week that I only have an iPad, I only have a Chromebook, I can't get any of the other computers. And then we can work around things like that. Right. The next thing is I want you to save all your work on cloud. We have all the instructions to set up cloud. The reason why we recommend cloud is that you don't lose the files. A lot of the times we save our files on the local computers and then you delete those files or they get corrupted, something odd happens. But if you save the files on cloud and you have free access to OneDrive through KSU student email accounts, so you don't have to worry about purchasing some cloud credits. So you can simply use your KSU student email account, use the OneDrive, save all your files to OneDrive, and that way you don't lose any of the work that you've ever done. So these are the course learning outcomes. You must have already seen them in the simple syllabus. Let me cut the long story short. What you will learn in this class is basically the entire life of the data science, life cycle of data science, rather. So what we'll be doing is one big project, which is split into two main subgroups, and then we'll call them as midterm project and final project. And even after that, we compartmentalize each of these projects into three different parts. So for midterm, there will be three different parts, and for final, there will be three different parts. And the way we've designed it is for each lab that you do, there will be a project component. So whatever you're doing in the lab is the same that you're doing in the project. So this way you can translate whatever you're learning and then practice it. Now, There's no formal attendance in this class. So I'll look at your timely submissions to understand how attentive you're being in the class. So there are no points for attendance. So that's why I strongly recommend that you participate in the discussions so that you get extra credits there. Now, as far as the assignment deadlines are concerned, please try to get your work done on time. We'll talk about the late policy pretty soon. In addition to me as your support, you also have access to a tutoring center for Data 1501. It's called by different names. It's called a study hall. It's called virtual tutoring lab, but it's essentially a tutoring center just for our class. And if you're taking this class, your tuition automatically goes for that. So it's not something that is in addition to whatever we are doing in the class, it's part of it. So if I'm not available, or if you're ever stuck, if the videos weren't helpful, let's say, then you can always reach out to these people. Now, let me try making this a little bit clear. So when to reach out to whom? If it's content related, you can always post your stuff on discussions. But let's say you need some external help. You want to reach out to a person instead. So your first point of contact, if it's content related, will be the tutoring center when it's available. Your second point of contact would then be me. If it's a personal issue that you have, your first point of contact will be me. So content related, first point of contact, tutoring center. If they're not available, then reach out to me. Personal issue, first point of contact will be me. So please keep that in mind. All right, so as far as evaluation is concerned, so we have 4 different parts. I talked about this briefly earlier on, kind of messed things up a bit, but let's try making this a bit clearer. So classwork is 20% of your final grade. So by classwork, what do we mean? That is all of your in-class labs that we do. So each module, almost each module, not every module, has a lab associated with it. And all those labs combined will give you 20% of your final grade. Then there are Pearson homeworks. So remember how I talked about an external learning tool earlier on? That is this one. This is the only place where you're probably using Pearson to get some work done. You can also use it to read the textbook, but this is the only place where you're getting your homework done. So this is 30% of your final grade. Then you have midterm project, which is split into 3 parts. And this entire midterm project comprises of 25% of your final grade. Similarly, there's final project, which probably kicks in around week 5 of your semester. And that again has 3 parts, and that comprises of 25% of your final grade. I will give you instructions on what you're supposed to be doing every week. And please look at the announcements. I'll try to make the announcements as clear as possible so that you're not confused. But if you're still confused, always reach out to me, shoot me an email, try meeting with the tutoring center, try seeing me. So please don't live in a limbo. Don't be confused. If you're confused, just reach out to me. Now, the letter grades, this is the usual split up that you would see in most classes. 90% or above is A, 80 to 89 is B, and so on and so forth. And here's the deal. So if you're getting an 89.4, it's a B. If you're getting an 89.5, it's an A. So I round up numbers according to the regular mathematical notation. So that's what we're sticking to. I'm pretty good with feedbacks. So please do look at your assignment feedbacks, project feedbacks, whatever you're submitting on D2L. So if you're getting less than 100 on any of your assignments, that means there is a room for improvement. And I will always regrade those assignments. So if I'm sharing feedback with you, please work on that and then resubmit that assignment so that you can get the complete grade on it. Just because I gave you, let's say 20 on a assignment which is for 100 doesn't mean that's the final grade. You can always redo it. For that, you'll have to look at my feedback. And I share the feedback pretty soon. Let's say if it's a lab, I probably would do it in a week or so. It usually doesn't take that much. I am kind of being pretty lazy when I put this thing up. I usually try to get that done within 3 or 4 days, so you don't have to wait forever. If you shoot me an email, I usually do that within the same day, if not the next day or the day after. So email is the best way of communication with me. Try to shoot me emails. And then what else do we have? Yes, late work. So here's the deal with late assignments. I don't recommend that you do any late assignments, but let's say somehow we all submit things late. Time to time, things come up. If you end up submitting things late, I have a late policy. It's 5% penalty per day. So let's say the work is due on Monday, but then you turn it on Tuesday. Instead of me grading you for 100, I'll grade you for 95. If you submit on Wednesday, I'll grade you for 90, and so on and so forth. But this is not indefinite. At some point, it's got to stop. It'll stop the moment I finish grading all your peers. So let's say I finish grading all your peers on Thursday. You end up submitting your work on Friday. Don't expect me to grade it for 80. You're not being graded at all because I've already graded all your peers. However, there are exceptions to this too. If you let me know ahead of time, let's say you have some medical issues or something else came up. So let me know ahead of time so that I can give you a personal extended deadline. But don't try to shoot me an email at the very last moment. That doesn't work. So please communicate. I can't stress that enough. Please communicate all the time. Whatever is happening, try communicating as early as possible. AI policy, don't use AI. That's pretty much it. I don't think you can even use AI with the way I've structured the assignments and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty hard to use AI anyway. So I don't think I have to worry about it a lot. And then you've got to look at the other deadlines with the course withdrawal and stuff. And yeah, this is basically a summary of what we'll be doing. Around week 4 is when you'll be submitting the midterm, and around week 9 is when you'll be doing the final project. Apart from this, once we are done with the midterms, I will also send you midterm grades so that you understand where you are in the class, and determine how well you need to work so that you get the grade that you want to get eventually. So yeah, that is pretty much about the syllabus. Next, let us move on to the schedule. So here's the thing about D2L. I don't know if you people have figured it out. If you click on certain links, sometimes the preview doesn't render really well. So what you got to do is you have to always download things. So whenever you have a PowerPoint or a video, probably not videos, PowerPoint, Word documents, PDFs, which don't render well onto your browser, just click on this download button and then open them up. So probably let's not trust the preview all the time. Okay, so here's a look ahead into the schedule. So as I said earlier, week 4 is when you're doing the midterm submission, and week 9 is when you'll be doing the final submission. And each week, I've listed down what we are covering, what deliverables you'll be having, but understand that sometimes things don't always go according to plan. Sometimes we can go a little bit slow. So that's why I strongly recommend that you check out this calendar right here. So each week, check out what works you got to be doing from the calendar here so that you know what submissions you have. So just don't trust this calendar completely. We'll try to stick to this calendar as much as possible, but sometimes things can go a little bit oddly. So your main point of contact to understand what assignments you have on a weekly basis is this one. So try to get all the works done from here. Okay, let's go back to content then. All right. Now, before the first week kicks in, before the first module kicks in, what I want you to do is complete a couple of things. Firstly, Microsoft Office Suite installation. Even though you have Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and all the stuff on your computer, what I want you to do is try following the steps here. Try downloading and install Microsoft Office, and I want you to use your KSU student email for that. You have all the instructions for that over here. So all these links are pretty much your instructions. So please try to follow along with these instructions for the assignment. So we have an assignment here too. So you got to prove to me that you all have access to Excel, you all have access to the softwares. So this thing which says software verification assignment is basically your assignment. So you have instructions for both Windows users as well as Mac users. So as I said earlier, this course was primarily designed for those people with Windows systems and Mac systems. So if you have a Chromebook or an iPad, probably things are much different in that case. So in that case, as I said, reach out to me. So you can follow along with these instructions if you have either a Windows system or a Mac system. So the first few set of instructions are Windows, and then the Mac OS instructions start. So try follow along with these instructions and then get your Microsoft Office Suite installation done. And also you got to tweak your Excel a little bit, which you'll get to see in those instructions. I believe there's a video somewhere. I don't think there's a video for this one. All right. So that's the first thing that you got to do. The second thing that you got to do is this eText and MyLab. So this is how you get access to your Pearson software and the textbook. So there are instructions for you to understand how to get access to Pearson software, how to create an account and all of that stuff. Once you're done doing that, you can use this link to get to Pearson software. So please ensure that you do both of these things before you start your module 1. Okay, so once this is done, you will start with module 1, which is Introduction to Data Science. Now, as you can notice, we have a very unique structure to this module. It has 3 different parts. Now, this is a structure that you will find in all the future modules. However, there will be few more parts in the future modules. We'll talk about those. So I want you to understand how these modules are set up so you know where exactly to look for the materials that you need to look at. Firstly, this section which says prepare is the reading material from your Pearson software. So it's external. So you click on this, all these links here, they're all links to your Pearson software textbook. Now, I always say that the reading material is optional. Given that this is only 8 weeks, you probably don't have a lot of time to read. But if reading is your thing, I strongly recommend that you do it. If you do not want to read, then there is an alternate way for you to get the content, which is to follow along with the PowerPoints and watch the video lectures. And that is present in the next part called Learn. In the Learn, you will see the PowerPoint lecture slides and the lecture videos for this particular module. This is important for you. Why? Because without this, you cannot get your homework done. Remember, homework is 30% of your final grade. So you have to go over these lecture slides or the lecture videos. Now, I have to tell you this. I have to be very specific about this. Now, this course is also offered by other instructors in an online asynchronous manner. Now, since we have to maintain uniformity across all the different offerings of the same class, all these lecture videos, most of them, for the most part, were created by the course coordinator, who is Professor Nicole Carter. So you will not be seeing me on those lecture videos. Now, from time to time, let's say I see a common issue with all of you with a project. I might create my own videos so that I make a concept much clearer for you. However, right now, in all these videos, you'll be seeing Professor Nicole Carter and not me. So starting from module 1, it's Professor Carter that you'll be seeing. Once you're done with this learn part rather, you then move on to the practice part. In the practice part, you will find the link to the Pearson homework. So you click on this link, that will navigate to Pearson software where you can finish your homeworks. So this is what you got to be doing for module 1. Now in module 1, we are not doing any hands-on lab. We are not doing any project. Our hands-on lab, our first hands-on lab and our first midterm project part starts in module 2, which is next week. Now the structure for that is slightly different. So I'll switch my view back to an instructor so that I show you how that looks like. So I go to content and let's go to module 2, which is data basics. So in this, you can see that there are few more parts. There is prepare, once again, which is your textbook reading material. There is learn, which is your lecture PowerPoint slides and your videos. There is practice, which is your homework exercises on Pearson. So this is stuff that we've already talked about. What is new is this part which says apply. Apply is your hands-on lab. Once again, you have the PowerPoint presentation with all the instructions for it. You also have the videos corresponding to it. In some of these PowerPoints, the videos are automatically embedded. So you don't have to look at these lab tutorial videos in addition. You can simply look at these PowerPoints. Some of them might have the videos embedded in them. Now, when you probably will get to see this video, I probably will be changing this particular file, but this is the data set that we'll be using for our lab. Something like this. It probably might not say fall 2025. It will say something which is more latest. But this is what you'll be using for your labs. The next part is SS. SS is your project material. So whatever you have learned in this lab, you'll be doing the same thing on your project. And you have the instructions corresponding to that here. So let's see if I can access this. Okay. So if we go along with these instructions, it says create a data dictionary for your assigned variable subset. So by this assigned variable subset, what we mean is that I want you to create the same thing that you've done in the lab using your project dataset. Now I'll go over these instructions in a more detail when we come to this. I'll post all of that in the announcement, so don't worry about that for now. All I want you to understand at this point is that whatever you're doing in this part, the apply part, you do the same thing in the SS part. The only difference is that this data set that you have in apply part is going to be different from the data set that you'll be using in the SS part. That's pretty much it. So probably when you will get to see the video, you will see a much different, or when you have access to these materials, you'll see a much different version from this. So that you understand which one is project dataset and which one is the lab dataset. Yeah. So this is basically how each module is set up. As we talked about earlier, we have a total of 9 modules, and we won't have projects for each and every module. We won't have labs for each and every module. So we'll go over each of those steps one at a time. So it might seem like a lot, but as I said earlier in the previous introduction video, if you stay diligent, if you try getting your work done on a timely manner, if you communicate with me pretty early, if you post things on the discussion forum on a timely manner, and then ask questions, get help, help others, I think you will succeed in this course. So let's have a wonderful learning in this semester. I wish you all a great semester and looking forward to meeting all of you. Right. Cheers. Bye.